So technically study abroad is required for my major, but that is not the only reason that I went. But I did an exchange program with Hong Kong Baptist University. There are 3 sections of Hong Kong. It's not in the downtown area of Hong Kong, but more the residential area. Jackie Chan lived or had kind of a fun time house a few blocks from the campus. And so I just came back from that program in December. It ran from August to December. So I want to take you through a few things about this. I'm going to start with why I chose HKBU, and I'm trying not to make it too specific to this place, but I really loved my experience, so it might be a little Hong Kong specific, but hopefully you can see kind of the general picture of why you should get out of this country and go study somewhere else. First is that I chose it because of word of mouth. I was just listening to the experiences of people, other students who had come back from that program, and everything had been really positive. And so for pretty much any program, if you are interested in something, you can find others who have already come back from that program. It's still fresh on their mind, fresh on their hearts, and get the lowdown so you're not just relying on professors and faculty members who really want you to go. I also got to know a lot of the exchange students here at Mercer who are from Hong Kong Baptist. We get maybe 2 per semester, and that's generally for any of our exchange programs. We have a few students from those schools every year, and I really liked those students. Every single semester I felt like I connected with them, and that they were very open and fun and hospitable, and I'd stayed in touch with them. And when I got to Hong Kong, I met up with every exchange student who had been to Mercer up to that point during my time there. And another reason was because of course offerings. They have a lot of options. As long as your professors are willing to work with you, you really can go from a lot of different majors and make it work to fit in with your timeline. So why I loved HKBU, the local students, there's a really large international population there, but also a lot of local Cantonese students. You live in the halls. We have an international house here, but there it's more like you're as integrated as possible in with everyone. And the halls just kind of take you in, and it's a whirlwind, and they invite you to all their different functions. And there, the halls are almost more like fraternities and sororities here. And the hall life is really vibrant, and you become a part of that. And it's just very different from American culture in that people are very eager to include you. You don't have to try to make friends or be included. It's something that happens sort of more naturally. Also that Hong Kong was obviously a place, if you wanted it to be more of a Western experience, you're really uncomfortable with trying out traveling in Asia, it's a pretty good stepping stone. At the same time, the Cantonese culture is very alive there if you're looking for it. So it can kind of go either way. You can push yourself a little bit more, or you can stay in your comfort zone. But you can also travel to a lot of other Asian countries from there. There's strong faith communities, particularly at Hong Kong Baptist, if that's something that's important to you. There are churches and student groups, one of the only schools in China or Hong Kong where student faith groups are really active and allowed. And so why I've been changed by my experience there, and if you ever want to know things more in detail, please come and talk to me, and we'll hash all through it. But just to kind of tell you the big picture, obviously there are many social and world, cultural, political issues that you're just not going to encounter or have to face until you get out of this country. Even things that you're not going to encounter in a 3 or 4 week long Mercer on Mission trip. And that's important to try and start tackling those things now. To be in a place where you are a minority and where your ideas may be in the minority, it's very important. And to take the time to grow in one way more independent, to get away from this campus, even though I know most of you are going to become very entrenched here, you're going to become involved in a lot of organizations. You're going to feel like you can't leave. Do it anyway, because it's very freeing to put aside some of those commitments and go to another place where you can just be a participant. But at the same time, it's also very humbling to be you're no longer the big student on campus. You are just part of this crowd, and learning to deal with yourself and making friends again is a huge learning and growing experience. And lastly, as you might have experienced with camps or other things where there's a time constraint on your friendships, you make very deep, meaningful friendships in a short time, and they can and do last. And the friendships that I've made there, largely with people from surrounding Asian countries, that I would have never made friends from Kazakhstan if I hadn't gone to Hong Kong. Other places like that. Those really have changed my outlook and changed the way I view myself and how I spend my time. I've always been involved on this campus, and I realized when I went to Hong Kong Baptist that I had spent so much of my time for my own self-advancement, to getting the very best grades I could and taking on all the leadership positions I could, and going on a study abroad and realizing that the purpose is not just to fight your way to the top of everything, but to get to know people and to listen and to be there and to form friendships while you can, and go out and just experience something that you will never have the chance to experience again. That is to me one of the most beautiful and important things of life. So it's kind of my experience in a nutshell, and hopefully it gives you something in here to make you want to get out of this school and this place, even though it's a wonderful school and a wonderful town. So thank you very much.